Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop Podcast. Hope you're all having a great, wonderful day. So today we're going to be talking about The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. These are two authors that I'm familiar with. I've read The 100. Not the complete series, but I have read The 100 by Cass Morgan, and Daniel Page is just really great at doing spooky stuff. I read a novel of hers and Monster, great movie. That novel really sent chills down my spine, and I was able to read an excerpt of The Haunted. Once again, chills down my spine. She's very good at what she does, and these are two authors that are both very good at what they do, and I think together they were able to make a really cohesive novel. So The Ravens follows Vivienne Devereaux. She embarks on the next stage in her life, going to college at Westerly. What she doesn't know is the campus she was accepted to has a sorority that has witches in it. They are a coven that spans centuries old, and I think it's really impressive how this sorority works to blend in, to keep their secret. You know, they're hiding in plain sight, basically, and I really do think that's clever. I do also think it's unique. You've seen it on TV, cliched a bunch of times, like, oh yeah, we're witches, sororities, that kind of thing. And it's always come off as sort of just like this plot device, but Morgan and Page were able to really give it some depth. They're really able to take this thing that has kind of become a joke or just not something taken seriously in media and decided to run with it. They are a sisterhood in this novel, and it's a really good novel. It really is. I really did enjoy reading it. In fact, I finished reading it this morning. It took me 3 hours. I couldn't put it down. It has a great pace. It also helped that my son was asleep. But it has great pacing to it. It goes back and forth between Vivienne, known as Vivi, and Scarlett Winter, a junior at Westerly. She is part of this coven. She's been a part of this coven. She knows about witches. She comes from a long line of witches, and their whole relationship is very well done. There are times when Scarlett kind of comes off as this sort of cliche bad girl, but what I think is really good about her characterization and her development is the fact that there's a lot of pressure behind this facade that she kind of carries. She has a lot of pressure from her mom. She has expectations she has to live up to. There's a lot going on. She's having relationship troubles with her boyfriend, who's kind of come back as a completely different person, completely changing everything they want and need. And I thought that was really well done as far as her characterization. I do think Scarlett, she grows on the reader. At first I liked her, then I was just like, oh, come on, you're just coming off as the petty, mean girl. But, as the story goes on, you get to see more depth to her, and you really do get to know her as a person. I do think it stands with you. Has this strength, this devotion to her sisters, and she is willing to put her sisters, her coven, first, and that means a lot of sacrifice on her part. And there's a lot of sacrifice on her part near the end. very sad, but the fact that she does it adds more layers to her character. You know, you do get to see more of who she is as a character. And she has a lasting impression on the reader. The same can be said for Vivi as well. I like Vivi as a character. And sorry for that pause. My son's crawling around and I think my husband put his pants on backwards. Did Daddy put your pants on backwards? I'm sorry. No, they're on right. Okay. The embellishment on his pants is just on his behind instead of the front. But okay, whatever. Anyway, like I was saying, Vivian is a good character. I do like her as a character. I think her backstory is more interesting than her personality, but it does say a lot about her personality. She spent her life moving around a lot. She thinks her mom is a charlatan, and she has no idea she's a witch. She has no idea she's a powerful witch at that. She is incredibly powerful, but she has no idea. She has no idea how powerful she is. Hello, my son. Do you want to say hi to the listeners? No, you can't take Mommy's phone from her. No. Oh my. Anyway, I think that's really interesting as far as she goes. She has the strength. I think she's just kind of caught in the middle of the plot. That's not to say anything bad about her. Like I said, she is an interesting character. I do like her dynamic, and I do like her development throughout the story. I just feel like sometimes she fades into the background behind her magic and behind her power and behind the plot. I think she needed a little bit more personality. Now, that being said, I do think her and Scarlet balance each other out. They're both very different, but they do form this very strong friendship and sisterhood, given all the tension and everything that happens between them. So they are a good team. They do have a really good dynamic with one another. But, like I said, I really wish Vivi had a stronger personality. Now, that being said, I did love the story. I do think it was very well told. There's so many plot twists in the story. I love that opening chapter. You don't know when exactly its opening chapter takes place. You discover an inkling of when near the end of the story, but this novel really sends you through a spin. You have a suspect, and then your suspect is debunked, and then there's a whole other plot twist, and you're like, what? And it did catch me off guard, and I like that. I like when a story catches me off guard, but it fit. Even though I kind of knew what the ending was going to be, I didn't actually predict it in that way, and I thought that was really interesting. I do like how the authors made me second guess myself in developing the story. And like I said, I read this book in about 3-4 hours. Ooh, I blew through it. I absolutely blew through it. I just couldn't put it down because it was really well done. It was a well-told story. It was captivating in its own way, and that's what I liked about it. I liked how captivating it was. I liked how well thought out it was. I like the general storytelling of this novel. That pacing, the tension, it keeps rising and rising and rising until that cataclysmic ending. And when I mean cataclysmic, that's the most apt word choice for everything that happens in this novel. So, I mean, once again, this was The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. I highly recommend it. I mean, it's got sorority girls, but not cliche sorority girls. It's got witches, it's got magic, it's got good character development, a strong feminist aspect to it, sisterhood above all else. I really do think it is a well-rounded plot, and ultimately, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and give The Ravens 4 stars. I do recommend purchasing this book off of bookshop.org. Purchasing off of bookshop.org does send proceeds to local booksellers, and I think during this time, booksellers, independent booksellers, really need all the support that they can get. If money is too tight, which, trust me, I completely understand, I do recommend renting out the book from your local library. Another thing that needs our support, libraries are a great resource for the community, and they definitely deserve all of the support that we can give them. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.